Okay, I have hit the recording button. So now we're official. We actually have a couple minutes before we start, so we'll say pleasantries as much as possible and then get on with tonight's final Zoom session of the semester. It's been fast, hasn't it? There's that. Alicia always has these commanding views from way up high. Yeah. Anybody got any vacation plans for the rest of the summer? Go anywhere good?
I don't yet, but I'm planning on coming up with something.
I like the way you think.
Yes.
Time's running low. Before you look up, it'll be back to school again.
I know.
I can tell you as a retired person, the day after Labor Day is the best day of the year. And all you got to go back to work. What is iPad 2?
Did you already hit the record button?
I did. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Thank you very much for reminding me.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate it. Okay. 6. I'm not going to hold you any longer than we need to. First thing, I wanted to make sure everybody knew what they needed to have in. I've been sending out fun emails for the last 2 days. And I think I've about created some heart attacks, but we need to make sure that we have our OMA 1 through 4, all 4 tasks in the final, in the Blackboard course shell, also the Blackboard internship shell, and in task stream for evaluation. That's OMA 1 through 4. Nobody has questions, right? Okay. We need to have our skip 1 and 2 in both the Blackboard course shell and the Blackboard intern shell. But you don't have to have them in task stream because you don't have a finished product to put in task stream yet. Okay? Any questions about that? Everybody's going to make it, right? Okay. You also have to complete the School of Education dispositions in task stream. And that's for evaluation this semester. It's evaluated first, third, and fifth semester. Okay? Then you also need to request comments from me on your competencies up to this point and also your internship log. Just that it's up to date and has the required number of hours, et cetera, et cetera. Any questions about any of those? Okay, so everybody's good. Okay, then I've several semesters ago, I taught 603 and prepared a final list of things that I thought were important from the course. I want to run through. If I bring something up you don't know what I'm talking about, and we both have troubles. But hopefully this will just be a reminder that you've done all this stuff. Okay? So these are my final notes on how not to get fired once you get to the big office. Okay? The first 3 bullets are my strongest opinions. They may not contribute to your not getting fired, but they are my fundamental beliefs about school. Number 1, a school in the long run is a people business, not a test score factory. I hope you all believe that. I find that very sad about modern education as we checked our numbers more than we need to. Teacher empowerment is really, really beneficial in the long run. Be willing to risk it. You all will. And treat every decision as if your child was the one involved. School needs to be personal, I think, to be really great. Okay, those are my big 3. So these are the things that I hope you never encounter, but if you do, you'll know what to do and you'll keep your job. The following will save your job one day. An emergency crisis plan, the more detailed the better. Field trips, let everybody know what they're up to and what they're supposed to do if something happens before they leave, not after they've gotten into a wreck. Student bus accidents, you call 911 first. Whatever else you do afterwards doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but you do that first. Liability issues. As principal, you're going to be the most liable person in the building. They are going to include you in whatever the suit is that you didn't take the time to watch out. So join a professional organization that provides legal assistance and inform your staff regularly of safety and behavior procedures. Don't just say that the first work day in August, then add a bunch of staff throughout the year who don't ever know it. Repeat it again at, say, Thanksgiving time, and then once more around Martin Luther King's birthday, just so you know that everybody knows. Due process regarding the discipline actions. You know, our first reaction is we know who did it. We got them. We know they're always trouble. It's always a boy, so it's, you know, we're always in trouble. But the due process is an American right. So remember that and do it correctly. Difficulties with disciplining students. I don't think discipline is rocket science. In fact, I think it's way more complicated. And I think, personally, if you'll operate every discipline decision as if both children were receiving exceptional children's assistance, that you'll be better off than hoping that neither one of them does. Cyberbullying must be taken seriously. It's not just something kids do in their spare time. IEP meetings need to be taken seriously. You need to attend whenever you can. You need to add folks anytime you can. Make sure that you do everything you can to have IEP meetings on days that parents can come and not find a way to basically exclude them. Same with intervention team processes. Okay, HR practices. Empower your teachers, include them in your interview teams. Remember, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Find a way to uncover this in interviews. The single best question research-based in an interview is to ask a candidate about his or her favorite teacher. You're going to find out what that person's vision of the classroom is with that answer right there. Make sure your staff knows about the counseling services that your district provides. I think everybody's district does have some kind of EAP. Teaching is a stressful job. People run into problems. Facilities assessment, that's a great form that this class includes. Hold on to it and use it again. In the good old days, principals were the white guys with keys who knew where the boiler was, okay? The principal still needs to know how the building works, no matter what their gender, race, or ethnicity. Know where stuff is, know where it works, be able to answer questions like where is the boiler, where are the chemicals kept, et cetera, et cetera. You need to know those things. Fundraising. Follow procedures. That's the best thing I can tell you. Do not mess with money. I think I told y'all the story of my friend who was out sick when her secretary absconded with funds, and my friend lost her position because of it. Still can't figure it out, but it's the way it goes. School budgeting, again, involve your teachers. Sexual harassment, this is not by the principal. Take complaints seriously. This is one that will sink you if you don't do it correctly. Now, sexual harassment with the principal and a staff person. Hopefully you all have enough sense and are in a position you don't date anyone on your staff. That is suicide. But if you are absolutely terribly, hopelessly in love with someone on your staff, you just have to wait till the next year when one of you transfers somewhere else, and then you can do what you desire. Just never ever date a member of your own staff. I've seen that one go badly too. And two things I hope you got from this semester. One, consult a financial advisor regarding 403B plans and other savings advantages enjoyed by teachers and state employees. You will be very happy you did when you come to my time in life. Also always maintain membership in a professional organization that provides support if you are sued. Any questions about any of those? Did I not cover them all during the year or the semester? We touched base on all of them, right? Maybe not. Okay, good. Now, this is actually a 6 out of 5 question tonight. but it just struck me as being very current and in the news, and I wanted to go on and go through it with you, and maybe you'll know all the answers for yourself when you get to 605. I read in the paper last week, the Charlotte Observer, that of all the kids in the state of North Carolina of school age, only 80% of them now go to public schools. And this was not the case when I was coming up, or a principal, or anything else. I mean, we have a very healthy private school business in Charlotte, but still, it's nothing like 20% of the city. This is going to affect your lives, no question about it, and how you're going to deal with it. It's also being funded by the richest, most powerful people in America. For example, Bill Gates. People with good things in their hearts that they want to do, but they're scary. So I'll leave that one open to the board. You may got anything they want to say about what you guys need to be thinking about as you move forward into your future of charter schools, private schools, home schools, whatever new schools they think of in the next few years. Remember, my wife told me I have to give more wait time, so I'm waiting you out.
I think one of the things that we have to think about doing in the future is, one, improving what we're offering, and unfortunately doing some marketing about what we offer, because we're not the only gig in town anymore. And we're dealing with that in my district because we've got some other options that, 20 years ago wasn't there for parents to do. And we need to sell the quality and the opportunities that public education gives.
So what alternatives do you have now in your district?
Where I'm at?
Yeah.
We have a private school that's funded really by someone of some wealth that basically gives scholarships for kids to go to this private school that pays for everything. And we can't compete with that per se. It's much smaller classrooms and so on and so forth. But at the same time, they can pick and choose who they take in that program, whereas we can't. We have to take anybody and everybody.
Right. Our blueberries are not the same as their blueberries all the time, are they?
No, they're not.
And the scary part for me is that it could get to the point where the most difficult students are all that's left for a school district to work with, because there's options for families where parents take the time to go out and search. I mean, I saw kids from, I was principal of some difficult schools, but the parents who made the biggest difference were the first ones to find alternatives for their kids appropriately. I couldn't argue with them. They found charter schools that were doing well, and they moved their children out. Hard to beat. Any other thoughts about this? How do you prepare? How do you start learning to market your school, as Mark said?
I mean, I think it comes with like hiring as well, just making sure that you're really getting quality teachers in your school, and that you're getting the community involved, and that you're doing great things at your school and that people know about it. District-wide, I'm really not sure, except that we just continue to hold everybody to the same standards, and as far as excellence is concerned, and making sure that all students are getting what they need. Because I've worked at a Title I school since I've been in CMS, and a lot of times I feel like the things that my students need, we don't provide. So much so that I have a child that's 3, and I'm not even considering putting her in public schools. And I know that sounds bad because I'm a public school teacher, but it's the truth. So if I get into a minute,
you won't be the only one.
I know, but I just hate that, but I want to ensure that she's getting the things that she needs, like exposure to science and social studies. Those are important things that everybody should have. So I guess just making sure that we're doing what's best for kids, and that the community sees that we have great things going on too in our schools.
And making sure they know about it. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of her, like I was going to say the same thing, like we're losing students. We're also losing teachers. We can't can't keep teachers in the buildings. You know, I think they play hand in hand. And I think one of the things that I kind of come back to a lot of times is we've lost a lot of trust as education with parents and parents with us. And so sometimes it feels like we're fighting parents instead of working together with parents. We got to figure out a way to heal that and start working together where parents are willing and trusting to bring their kids to our schools.
I'll tell you, in 30 years, I met some lousy parents, but I never met one who didn't love their kids. And I always felt like if you drop back on that stance, you'd figure your way through to the end. Not on one of them.
And I agree with Bailey because I had the experience. Like 2 of my students that I had in 2nd grade, I had them this year in 3rd grade, and their parents know that I'm not going to be with them again in 4th grade, and they're leaving. They're both going to charter schools this year.
Wow.
And they only stayed because they knew that I was going to have their kid again. And I had another parent whose child was really high. Like he scored a 5 on his BOG, and she's leaving next year too. So, and we need those kind of scores in our schools, especially Title I schools.
Yeah, we do. And what happens instead is you get a brain drain, and it looks like your school's getting weaker and less well taught. I think that's not a sentence, but anyway. that there's something going on at the school, which I guess there is. I mean, it's hard to keep people at a Title I school. You get one little group who tend to stay year after year and form the vanguard, but all around them it's like a rotating wheel. You know, they're constantly coming and going, and it's hard to keep your culture alive with wholesale changes. Yeah, I think the national teacher average for turnover is something like 9-10% a year. Title I schools run closer to 20. Hard to find people who will stay. Any other thoughts on this? Anybody thinking about a move to a charter school or a private school?
I entertained the thought this year of going to a charter school, but you know, I didn't hear enough pros for me to just go ahead and leave.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I would ask would be about your pension and whether they would be paying into that, because some private school, some charter schools do and some charter schools don't. But I sure wouldn't lose it if I could help it. Anybody thinking about homeschooling their kids?
No way.
Yeah, no, for me. Not a god. Still wouldn't do it.
I have a 3, 7, and 9-year-old. They can go to school.
Anybody else have any comments on the loss of kids to the public schools? What are we going to do about the competition? Are there successful charter schools for low-income kids? Do you know? Anybody have any idea at all?
I mean, I assume there are some. My mom works at actually 2. She works at a charter school, but they're not doing so well. So they actually have a new head of school coming in.
Which one's she at?
Invest Collegiate. It's in Charlotte, and it's relatively new within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And then she's the HR director for another one that she just helped start last year called Unity Charter. But they only serve K2, and I'm not sure how they fared this year.
Well, I will tell you, I had an early intern from Sugar Creek Charter, and they do a bang up job over there out on the north end of town. They've done a really excellent job.
I think there's one in Greenville County called Lead Academy. I think it's a charter school.
Yeah.
I've heard of Lead before.
And I think they're doing pretty well.
Well, when you can choose the kids that come into the school, you should be doing very well.
Well, they've got a lot of issues. I mean, it's hard to keep a building. They don't have buildings provided. There's a lot of a lot of money involved in that. So it's more than just the kids. It's also the things that you can provide going towards an education. But I agree with you. If you get the cream of the crop, you ought to
I
go.
can have a good class. I can teach a real good class outside in the grass. I mean, we gonna do a bang up job counting all that.
As long as you got the right kids, right?
Long as they gonna sit down.
Yeah. The Charlotte superintendent has just announced he's going to consider moving teachers from high performing schools to low performing schools. Does anybody see the fallacy of that? Any comments?
I want to see it happen.
Stop.
Who's that sneaking in?
Savannah.
Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Right here.
Did you
Oh.
say? Did you say they was going to move the teachers from the high performing to the low performing and basically swap them?
That's what it says.
Hmm.
It's only about the fourth or fifth time it's been proposed in the last 10 or 15 years. And every time it gets a serious beatdown from all those people in schools where they have very few behavior problems who like it that way.
Right.
And don't tend to rush out to the kids who need them most. You can see where my heart lies, I'm afraid. But all kids need a good education, and it's my belief that different people are right for different schools, and that they find their way there.
So, can I flip this and ask you a question?
Sure.
My wife and I the other night was watching TV and saw an advertisement for an online K through 12 school. What's your thoughts about those programs? Have you heard anything about those?
Yes, I had I do the early semester visits to a group of people in a territory before you guys start. And my territory is from Charlotte down to Aiken, all the way through the middle of South Carolina. I visited EJ. I know possibly some of the others of you. I'm really bad about names and faces out of context. But one of them I was trying to set up because while I was there, I was supposed to see you and your supervisor, science supervisor. Well, one of them I had, the teacher was based in Charleston, but her supervisor was based in Aiken or something like, or somewhere way far away. So we did all ours on a virtual Zoom kind of thing. And they have pretty many people enrolled. Kids who aren't happy with the school system, but whose parents have sense enough to know they can't homeschool will do that. Sometimes
I think that was me, sorry.
it's all right. Kids who are on dance squads and gymnastics squads who travel, they like that kind of offering. I have some issues. I have some issues with our online program personally, but I'm not sure how many of those are because I'm old and grew up the other way. Because I would love to have each of you in a classroom once a week where we could really hash it out. I can see your face and I can see what you're doing behind the screen where I can't see it now. But times are changing. I just never was one who could learn how to do something from a textbook. Really. Does that answer your question, Mark?
Yeah, it did. I was just wondering, do you think it will get to the point that it'll compete like a charter school system is kind of competing with us? Do you ever think it'll become that popular?
I could see it. It's got its conveniences. Why anybody would want their children in their house all the time, I don't know.
Yeah, my boys won't be doing it, trust me.
It also concerns me about the socialization because, like I said earlier, I think school is more than test score data. You might be able to do all right with test score data online, but it bothers me that you don't play with other kids. And They already look at their screens too much. Any others? Okay. I'm going to let you off the hook and say goodnight to you. I hope everybody gets a chance to have a little vacation time before we start up, or you start up at 6:04. It's been a pleasure having you in class, as well as having you run your tasks through me. I hope I've been of help to you. I will continue that with you next semester, but I really don't know who your prof will be next semester. I know it won't be me. I'm going to be doing a 6:05 class. So, if there's nothing else to cap, and you know what you got to get turned in, and you're not going to die of a heart attack, I have to stop scoring from Wednesday at noon. So don't call me at 12:01 saying I just need another minute to put something in.
Well, can I ask one quick question about the
Sure.
competency? Do I need to put competencies into our folio with just the ones that's got the OMA side of them, or do we need to put in competencies for all of them in that folio? Does that make sense?
You're supposed to put at least 13 in this time.
Okay.
Okay? I would put in as many as I could and try to get that clear out of my life. Remember, they want things, they want examples, not necessarily a write-up.
Right. Okay. I was just, because sometimes, I mean, it's got in parentheses like OMA and SIP and then APTEL. I didn't know if we had to put specifically things from our OMA in those slots, or if we're just looking for things that relate to the overall competency instructions.
If you can use that, if you can make it fit, do. But I think there have been some errors found in that, so I wouldn't tie too much importance to it.
All right. That works.
Okay, have a good rest of the summer, and I will see you in the internship shell as soon as school starts back up, I think at the end of August.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
We're supposed to do peer reviews on task 1 and task 2 of the SIP, but I can't find the list like when we put in our OMA where I can find the person's name to do the peer review. I can't find that list.
You can do it with anybody.
I know I can't find the list of where people are turning it in. I only can see the SIP 2.
Anybody got advice? Because I can't see y'all's stuff.
I thought we had said we didn't have to do the peer reviews for the SKIP.
Skip, I'm sorry, yes. My bad. Yeah, you don't need peer reviews for Skip.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Because several people ran into an issue like that. Any others?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Then I'll finally shut up. You guys have a good rest of the summer. I'll talk to you in August, late August.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.